Hey guys, welcome to the session on AI or data science, which one to choose by Intellipaat. AI and data science are both really interesting technologies and are some of the most important technologies that are being used right now. But it's a little difficult to understand what is the difference between the two and which one to choose to start your career. Keeping that in mind, we've come up with this session to help demystify the differences and help you decide which one is best for you. In this session, we'll take a look at what is AI, what is data science, how they are related to each other, and which one should you choose depending on the kind of technologies you want to learn. So with that, let's get started and take a look at the agenda. But before we begin, we'd like to ask you to subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification bell icon so that you never miss another update. Click on the like button if you liked our video, and in the comment section down below, let us know what other technologies or topics would you like for us to cover next. In case you have any questions or queries regarding the things that we're covering, put them into the chat box. Our team is there to help you out. And also, if you find any of the technologies or terminologies that we're discussing a bit difficult, you can ask about them in the chat box, and at the end of the session we'll guide you through some of the resources where you can learn all of these things. With that, let's begin by taking a look at the agenda. So we will begin by taking a look at what is artificial intelligence. We'll then take a look at what is data science. So artificial intelligence and data science are two of the most common technologies that we'll be discussing here. They will form the basis of whatever we are discussing, so we need to first get a clear understanding of what both of these things are. Then we'll take a look at how AI and data science are related to each other. So what is the relationship between AI and data science? How are they related to each other, and why are they so often confused from one another? Then we'll take a look at companies that are hiring for AI and DS engineers. AI is artificial intelligence and DS is data science. Then we'll take a look at the skills that you need in order to become an artificial intelligence engineer or AI engineer. Then we'll take a look at the skills that you need to possess in order to become a data scientist or a data science engineer. Finally, we'll guide you through some of the learning paths through which you can learn these technologies and how you can get a job in these fields. So let's take a look at what is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is a broad term that refers to the intelligence that is demonstrated by a system. It is called artificial intelligence because these systems are not intelligent by default. Intelligence is built into them by using multiple algorithms and having them analyze a lot of data. Artificial intelligence has always been very difficult to achieve in computers and machines in general, but nowadays, with the advancement in technologies, advancement in processor speed, and development of new algorithms and statistical analysis techniques, we can now create machine learning or neural networks that can learn these things in a much more sophisticated way. And they have helped us solve several problems. So problems such as reading text from an image, transcribing audio automatically to text, converting one kind of audio to another, and many other kinds of things. Artificial intelligence is also a broad term. It could mean a lot of different things, but for the purposes of our understanding, it basically means that the intelligence that is demonstrated by an artificial system. Now, one thing to understand is that artificial intelligence, even today, is in its very early stages. So before the advancement that we have made by now, artificial intelligence was very rudimentary. You can't get it to do a lot of things, mainly because of the limitations of the processing speed. As time went on, artificial intelligence became more and more empowered, and now artificial intelligence is at a good state, but it's still at the beginning of its evolution. What has happened is, because of the increase in the processing speed, we can now teach machines to learn from the data that is available to us. This is where artificial intelligence comes into play, but the intelligence that can be derived from this kind of artificial intelligence is called narrow intelligence. It's good at doing one thing and one thing only. So, for instance, it's good at looking at an image and recognizing whether or not it contains a face of a human being, or whether or not there are multiple dogs in an image, whether or not multiple people are speaking in an audio clip. Something along those lines could be done using artificial intelligence, but something more complicated and a more general bit of understanding where you can learn to do one thing, then you can learn to do another thing, and then you can correlate these two things with each other, is still not something that we have achieved thus far. So artificial intelligence is very popular, it's very useful, but we have to understand that it's in its beginning step and it's starting to take off, but there's still a long way to go. Now let's understand what is data science or DS. Data science is a field of computer science that makes use of scientific and mathematical processes and algorithms to understand insights and to extract insights from large volumes of data. To better understand what artificial intelligence is, it's important to understand what we're talking about. So, before artificial intelligence and data science came along, we didn't have a lot of data. With the advancement in technologies and everyone having their own smartphones and social media accounts and the ability to create new content, we started to create and generate a lot more data. Now that data can be useful for many purposes, but the problem is that the data is very unstructured or is difficult to parse. It's difficult to understand the data and much more difficult to get a machine to understand the data. So this is where data science comes into play. So suppose when you're scrolling through your social media feed, when you're trying to buy a product, when you look at some kind of a product and you like that product or you show some interest in that product, the artificial intelligence systems or data science can be used there in order to extract your likes and dislikes and recommend you new projects. So this is where data science comes into play. Data science is used to get a lot of data and then try and make sense of it, extract insights that could be useful to you. If you are an e-commerce company, then the data generated by your users could be of use to you to understand their likes, dislikes, and needs. That way, you can generate offers that are tailor-made and specifically for them, so that you can provide them with as much benefit as possible. So these are the different fields: artificial intelligence and data science. Artificial intelligence and data science are quite closely related, and we'll see how they differ. But the main point of contention here is that in data science, we have to analyze the data, understand what the data is doing, and draw insights from it. In artificial intelligence, we're supposed to build some sort of predictive modeling kind of thing. So now let's take a look at how are artificial intelligence and data science related. Thus far, we have discussed what is artificial intelligence and what is data science. And these are important steps, but the important aspect that sometimes goes missing here is that they both seem quite similar. In both the cases, we need access to large volumes of data. We're passing them through some algorithm, and we are deriving some value out of that, out of the model or whatever we have created. So how are they different from each other when we're both trying to use data to our advantage in artificial intelligence and in data science? Artificial intelligence and data science are very closely related. AI is used to build models that can make predictions, while data science is used to analyze, transform, visualize data as well as build predictive models. So, to give you a quick example, artificial intelligence deals with the narrow concept of getting some data using machine learning algorithms and trying to figure out how we can make the machine learn a specific thing. On the other hand, data science is much more broader term. What it does is that when you have a large volumes of data and you want to sift through that data and figure out what that data can tell you about specific things, that's where data science comes into play. Data science can be used to inform our current decisions. AI can be used to predict future decisions. So if you want to create a weather forecasting model, artificial intelligence is good for you. If you want to figure out how the weather has transformed over the last few years, how the climate has changed, how the temperatures have varied, what different factors that we have collected the data for have affected the climate or the temperatures the most, and which were the years that faced the hottest summers and the coldest winters, things like that come under the analysis and transformation and visualization of data. So therefore they come under data science. You can use data science to train a predictive model as well. However, in artificial intelligence, these models are much more structured and they are much more informative and better to be used. Now let's take a look at companies that are hiring for AI and DS engineers. By now, you must have understood that both of these fields are closely related. If you learn one, you can definitely pick another one. This is why many companies, when they are hiring for developers or engineers, they take a look at a person having data science skills and they ask them to upskill themselves by learning more about artificial intelligence. In case you wish to do the same, in case you wish to learn data science and artificial intelligence to get a job, stick with us till the end of the presentation and we'll guide you through some of the resources. Also, we'd like to ask you to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell icon and click the like button if you like the video. Alright, so as you can see that these are the companies that can help us out. As you can see, this is a quite varied list of companies, because every company nowadays uses some form of data science or machine learning or both. The companies here range from small startups to large-scale multinational corporations that are service-based and some are product-based. Ola, Skype, Google, Adobe, Best Buy, Apple, Siemens, Oracle, YouTube, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, many others use artificial intelligence and data science in order to make their products better suited for their users. So if you're a data science expert, then you can practically use the data that the user has generated and offer them more data so that they can choose the ones they like, and you can figure out what are their likes and dislikes, what are they more attracted to on your platform, and help them out that way. Many companies like Amazon, Instagram, Ola, Google use these kinds of technologies in order to better suggest users with all the features and options they have available. So as you can see that many companies are hiring for AI and DS engineers, but if you want to be one of those, how can you learn these things? Well, let's take a look at that. Artificial intelligence skills. Well, in this, we'll take a look at what are the skills that are available for you to acquire in order to become an artificial intelligence engineer. So, in artificial intelligence, you need to possess several skills. Some of these are mathematics, programming, and neural networks. Let us discuss them one by one. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but these are the three things that you do need to know in order to get started. There are much more many things that you need to understand. Just learning these three things will not cut it, but these three things are the most important things that you need to learn. After that, learning new things is going to be relatively easier. So first come mathematics. Artificial intelligence makes heavy use of mathematics. Now, when we say mathematics, we don't mean low-level mathematics, but mathematics in the sense of using linear algebra, calculus, statistics, and probability. These are the four fields of mathematics that are made heavy use of in artificial intelligence, especially in neural networks. For understanding data and transforming data, linear algebra is used. Calculus is used in order to better understand the model and correct the model if it's producing wrong results or error. For tuning the model, calculus is quite good. Statistics is used for creating the model. So statistical analysis will take a look at the data that we have created, and it will figure out the relationship between the inputs and the outputs that we have given. And finally, probability comes into play when we want to model our data, but we want to make a probabilistic model in which we want to figure out what is the likelihood of something happening. So as you can see, mathematics plays an important role. All of these concepts build on top of each other, and you don't need to be an expert in any one of those, but you do need to have a good basic level understanding of these things in order to be able to build neural networks on your own. Then comes programming. This is an important skill because after you learn mathematics, you don't want to be performing mathematical computations on your own. Computers nowadays are really fast. They can churn through large amounts of data, and even cloud computing services like Amazon, Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services, and Microsoft Azure provide you with the capabilities of offloading really intense computations. So if you have large volumes of data and you want to perform some sort of calculation, but you don't have a machine powerful enough, what you can do is you can use these service providers, and when you use them, you get to offload your computations to their servers, and you pay only for the resources that you use, only for the time that you're using them. So for instance, if it takes 5 minutes for your computation to get finished on the server, you pay for those 5 minutes, and that's the only thing that you have to pay for. With programming, you can write code and you can learn how to understand the data, how you can use the data, how you can create these neurons and connect them into layers and build different kinds of neural networks. The thing about programming here is that you can use any language that you want. Since artificial intelligence and machine learning have been so popular, many languages have built libraries that make it easier for you to use them. If you're someone who has worked with C++, Java, C#, you can use machine learning libraries that are provided there. However, the programming language that has gotten the best ecosystem and has gotten the largest community of developers working in artificial intelligence is Python. If you're an academic person, then maybe R is a better choice for you, because in academia, R is used more often. Whereas in professional software development circles, Python has already been used, and since it's got such a great ecosystem for artificial intelligence, you can use Python as well. So it doesn't really matter which language you choose. If you already know some language like Java or JavaScript or C++, you can get started easily in those languages as well. However, if you want to have good support, we recommend that you use Python because it has a large community of developers. Then comes neural networks. Neural networks are also one of the most fundamental concepts in artificial intelligence. These are the concepts that allow us to model neural connections such as the ones that are formed in our brains in order to build intelligence into computer systems. Neural networks, and especially deep learning neural networks, which are basically just neurons, multiple layers of neurons deeply nested and connected to each other, are the fundamental building blocks that are the things that have made it possible for us to perform artificial intelligence on our own. So if you learn these three things, then you can get started with artificial intelligence and you can go much further once you have gained a basic understanding of all these things. Let's take a look at the skills required to be a data scientist. So data science is a field that requires you to master several skills. Some of these are data analysis, data manipulation, and data visualization. Let's take a look at those one by one. First comes data analysis. Data analysis is by far one of the most important aspects in data science. In this, when we get some data, and in data science, data is the fundamental building block on which we operate. So if you get some data, it's quite likely that it's not in a good shape. You need to figure out how bad or how good is the data and what are the operations that you might need to perform in order to get the data into a good shape. A good example of this would be if you get data from multiple sources and some columns are missing, some rows are missing some values, some columns have come from different data sources, so they have different measuring units. For instance, if you're trying to forecast weather temperature for the future, you've collected the temperatures for a particular city for the last 15 years. 5 of these come from a legacy system and 10 of those years come from a modern system. But both of them are using different measurements. So for the modern system of 10 years, you're using Celsius. For the later systems, you're using Fahrenheit. So that becomes a really complicated task because now you don't just have to merge these two columns together, but you also have to come with understanding that these two things are different and you need to either convert one to another and then join them, or convert and do it the other way around, or convert Fahrenheit to Celsius and then join them. So you have to understand how to do that. If there are some missing values, then you need to understand how you're going to fix it. If the missing values are only 1%, then you can probably just either remove the columns that have the missing values or fill those columns with the mean of the entire column or something along those lines. So this is how you can create a data. This is what data analysis is all about. Analyzing the data, figuring out what are the different things that are missing in the data, how is it wrong, what can we do to fix it. Also, we also try to figure out what is the level of correlation between the columns. For instance, if you are collecting data from multiple sources, one of the things that you get is you get a column named age and a column named date of birth. Now, obviously, you can derive the age from date of birth, so you don't need to store these two columns separately. These two columns are obviously attached to one another, and if the date of birth decreases, the age increases. And so this is how we have to understand this. Also, if you're trying to create a predictive model, then understanding the correlation between these two things can be important, because we might have to remove one kind of column in order to use the other kind of column. Otherwise, this correlation might have negative impact on the predictions that we make. With that comes data manipulation. After in the analysis portion, we have figured out what is wrong with the data set that we have and how we can fix it. We use manipulation techniques such as dropping columns, changing the structure, concatenating columns, adding new data into it, all of these techniques in order to correct for the mistakes that were found during the data analysis. And then comes data visualization. This is by far one of the most important aspects of data science, because in data visualization, we create visualizations that help us better understand the data, as well as anyone who isn't technically as literate as we are. So we can take a look at the data set. We can figure out what is mean, mode, median, how does the data correlate over time, how is the data, what is the trend of the data easily. However, if that data is shown to someone who isn't literate into the statistical analysis tools, then this is really difficult for them to understand. However, if you visualize them in a graph, then it's really easy for them to see the trend, whether the trend is going upwards, downwards, and when was the trend going upward and what happened that made the trend go downwards. something along those lines is useful. Now let's take a look at the learning paths to become a data science or artificial intelligence engineer. So if you want to become a data science or AI engineer, you need to learn these things in these order. Firstly, you have to understand mathematics. Data science and artificial intelligence both use mathematics, but artificial intelligence more so than data science. So you do need to know mathematics. You don't need to be an expert, but you do need to learn this. Also, if you want to learn these things, we'll guide you through some of the resources in a few moments. Then you have to learn programming. Any programming language will do. We recommend that you try and use Python, but if you already know a programming language, or you haven't started and you want to start with a new programming language that you already have in mind, there's a good chance there is a data science and artificial intelligence support in that language. Then comes data analytics. This is the step that allows us to analyze the data, visualize it, manipulate it, and understand what the data is all about. Then we go to predictive modeling. This helps us make a model which can do future forecasting. So if you want to predict the future based on the data that we have right now, then we can use predictive modeling. Finally comes certification. So if you get certified, you can stand ahead of the crowd that is applying for the same thing, and you can let people know that you have actually achieved something. So when you get certified, you are basically proving to the world and to the recruiters more specifically that you possess the skills that they are requiring from a job, and that you have been tested on the skills and you have come out passing those tests. So certification is really important. It helps you stand out from the crowd, and it increases your chances of becoming more visible to the recruiters. And then you can apply for the job. After you get the certification, you are in much better shape in landing a job offer. So now let's take a look at the resources that you can learn these things from. So whenever I'm trying to learn something new, a quote that always comes to my mind is, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. Keeping that in mind, we have a few resources that you can follow in order to get better acquainted with these technologies. Firstly, if you're learning these technologies and you run into some issues, we have a community site at intellipaat.com/community, where people come, they log in and they post their issues that they are facing when they are learning new things, and their peers and some experts could help them out into understanding and demystifying some of the problems that they are facing. So you can take a look at that. Like-minded people, you can put in some code that is throwing some error, and people will help you out if they have already witnessed the code or they know how to solve the error. Then there's a blog, intellipaat.com/blog, where we provide a lot of content regarding different technologies such as cloud computing, machine learning, computer vision, web development, and many other technologies as well. So you can take a look at that. If you're more of a visual person, then you can take a look at our YouTube channel as well. We have a lot of free courses in our library. You can take a look at those courses and learn more about these technologies, and you can better understand the things that we're trying to teach. If you wish to get certified and learn the things that we have discussed thus far to land a job, then let us guide you through some of the resources. So this is our Masters in Data Science program. Here we teach you everything that you need to know in order to become a data science or artificial intelligence expert. We start with data science with R. We also teach you data science for Python, whichever language you prefer. These are the two most popular ones. Then we'll move on to machine learning, artificial intelligence and deep learning. Then we'll take a look at big data, Hadoop and Spark. We'll understand Tableau desktop UI. And then we'll take a look at data science with SAS. We also have a few self-paced training so that you can learn these things on your own, such as advanced Excel for data visualization and comprehensive analysis of data. We have MongoDB and my MS SQL. So when you learn these things, you get a really good and firm understanding of everything that you need to know for becoming a data science. We cover everything from scratch. We don't expect you to know anything. So if you're a complete beginner, this is really good for you. We provide 10 plus courses and 53 plus projects with 232 hours of learning content. This course has been built in collaboration with IBM so that you can learn more and more about the technologies that we're discussing. There have been more than 53 projects that you will be solving and building in order to add to your portfolio. Projects allow you to get a better understanding of how you can deal with these things and how you can apply the skills that you have learned to solve real world problems. We provide you 24/7 lifetime support and lifetime free upgrade. So if some new technologies come into play, and we will create content about that, and you will have access to it as soon as we release it. So you just have to pay for it once. You can take a look at the overview of our course, take a look at the testimonials. It's one of our most highly rated courses. You can take a look at the course content in order to better familiarize yourself with the content that we'll be covering. You can take a look at the certificates. You will get 2 certificates for this. You will get one from IBM and one from Intellipaat. These certificates are valid in NASDAQ, Ericsson, Sony, Cisco, and many other multinational corporations, where you can show these certificates as a proof that you know the technologies that you're talking about. You can take a look at an FAQ section if you have any questions that you wish to be answered. In case you have some questions that are not answered in the FAQ section, let us guide you through some of the resources that can help you out there. But before that, thank you so much for joining us. Here you have a YouTube 30 coupon code. You can use this coupon code in order to get better deals. You get 30% off on any course that you want, flat 30% off without any questions. And you get this, but this is only for our YouTube viewers and it's available for a limited period of time. So we recommend that you try it out as soon as possible. With that, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you have liked this video. If you did, click on the like button. Click on the subscribe button to know about the future videos that we make. And also, if you have any questions that were not answered in the FAQ section, you can contact us on the numbers listed on the screen. If you're more of an email person, there's an email listed on the screen as well. Our course advisors are there to chat with you 24/7, so that they can help you figure out a career trajectory that best suits your needs. With that, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.